Today on Dead with Dave, we got Ghoulish Cop joining the Dead with Dave show. We're gonna show you some kick-ass veteran haunters. We're gonna fix some sound sync issues, and we're gonna show you how we judge the awards. Hello and welcome to the Dead with Dave show, a show that talks about all things Halloween or haunt related. And today we're gonna start off with something new. My good friend Rich, aka Ghoulish Cop, has finally agreed to do a segment for the Dead with Dave show. I've been asking him for months to record something, anything that has to do with Halloween, so I could put it here in the show. And he finally did that. So without further ado, I introduce to you Rich, aka Ghoulish Cop, and this segment is going to be called, and I know normally my segments are just kind of off the wall names, and I just kind of name them whatever the hell comes to mind. But I want to be a little bit more serious with this one because Rich is a serious person when it comes to his segments. He puts a lot of thought and energy into it. And it's going to be a segment about what he's thinking about, what interests him at that moment. So it's going to be called From the Mind of Ghoulish Cop. How's that sound?
New Jersey has a haunted history. Not your typical ghosts and goblins, though it has that too. Jersey Devil, anyone? But one of haunted attractions. Hi, this is Rich, better known as Ghoulish Cop on the vlogs, blogs, and Hauntin' Halloween forums. Dave has let me into the dungeon for this episode of Dead with Dave to briefly talk about that special time in New Jersey's haunted past. There was a golden era here in the Garden State when we had not one, not two, not three, but four major attractions. That they all met their demise in the same way is eerie enough, but their memories have faded, and it's only because a new crop of haunters that the cobwebs are being cleared and a new haunted history is being told. From the mid-1970s to the early 1980s, haunt lovers were able to go to Brigantine Castle in the seaside town of Brigantine, which soon spawned the Haunted Mansion in Long Branch, and then the Haunted Castle at Six Flags Great Adventure. According to an online history of the sites, Brigantine Castle's demise began after the seaside community limited the number of charter buses that could bring in tourists to the castle, as well as restrictions on its advertising. When a summer storm damaged the underinsured attraction, the owner closed the castle for good in 1984. The Haunted Mansion was born after its owner had visited Brigantine Castle and asked its owner for help in building one in Long Branch. If you view the commercials for the two attractions preserved on their individual history sites, you'll see the similarities in their promotion, even including parts of the same video. At its height, the mansion would attract 100,000 people a week, but the haunted aspect of the attraction was toned down in 1985 when the pier it was located on was dubbed Kids World. A gas leak in 1987 caused a fire that burned the mansion down to its pilings. The golden period of haunted houses came to a tragic end in 1984, when 8 people perished in a fire at the haunted castle at Six Flags, and building inspections became more strict. There was a fourth attraction called Castle Dracula in Wildwood. It opened in 1977, but, like the others, also met its death as a result of fire. New Jersey has since become one of the toughest states in which to start a haunted attraction, particularly because the fire codes are so difficult. Yet when you look at the history of haunted houses here and how each of them ended in fire, you can understand why the fire marshals are so strict. Although I remember the first 3 attractions, it was only because of their advertising. I may have seen Castle Dracula ads too, but it doesn't shake any of the cobwebs in my brain. I never actually visited any of them though, since unlike many fellow haunters, while I enjoyed Halloween as a kid, it wasn't an obsession of mine until about 5 years ago. Now, none of these places approaches Disney's Haunted Mansion, but then again, what does? Yet these musings about New Jersey's haunted past got me thinking about some other creepy theme parks in the state, though perhaps they didn't start off that way. In fact, if you're familiar at all with the magazine Weird New Jersey, you already know that the state is chock full of odd and offbeat places. But one in particular stands out with me, and was called the Gingerbread Castle that was located in Hamburg, New Jersey. I only stumbled across it because for at least 1 year anyway, it was outfitted as a haunted attraction, and a quite good one at that. The Gingerbread Castle is a children's park. built well before our brains were addled by instant gratification and digital excess. I think I might have gone here when I was very young, because when I returned a few years ago, there was a very real sense that I had seen it all before. Now it has fallen into a state of disrepair, but that makes it all the more creepy, which of course makes it the perfect setting for a haunted walkthrough. About 7 years ago, I found out it actually had been converted into a Halloween haunt, and it was truly an enjoyable one. You walk through a lot of the original castle, and though most of it was closed off, it was still a pretty extensive place, and the actors did a good job of scaring the bejesus out of people. That's why when I returned the following year, I was surprised to find out it had closed down. It had tons of people flocking to it, so the fact that they didn't repeat it is surprising. Then again, considering the horrid state of disrepair it was in, I'm surprised they got a permit to open it up in the first place anyway. But that's how you find it today, abandoned, dilapidated, with all the signs of the grandeur it once held, but now all silent, perhaps even scarier than if it was a haunt again. New Jersey has a rich history in haunting, sometimes intentional, sometimes not. Today there are a few haunts building up that tradition again. Brighton Asylum in Passaic, which has morphed into an elaborate haunt that's run throughout the year 13 different times. Then there's the smaller haunted manor at Keensburg Amusement Park. This started as someone's home haunt, but it was built up into a 4-trailer haunt at the park that includes some of the most detailed sets I've seen. And there's maybe others out there too, and us haunters have a duty to support them. So though New Jersey's history may be weird, it's rich enough that for those of us old enough to remember them, we can look back with fondness. And hopefully today's haunts will inspire more haunters to do the same.
One of my favorite categories in the Dead with Dave Home Haunters Awards is the Best Veteran Home Haunt category. These haunts are simply amazing. I mean, you can tell when a haunter has some years under his or her belt. And these haunts I'm going to show you now are no exception. You know, I've been haunting for around 20 years now, and my haunt pales in comparison to what these other veteran haunters have built. From the detail to the quality, these guys just know what the hell they're doing. So as a tribute to their amazing talent and hard work that they've put into their haunts over the years, I put together a little video montage of the veteran haunters that have entered the Dead with Dave Home Haunters Awards. So, enjoy. So last month we started a new segment on how to make better videos. And since I got a lot of great feedback on it, we shall continue it this month. If you start to hate all this production shit, just tell me and I'll stop doing it. But today we're going to focus on getting better sound and how to fix a very common problem when it comes to sound. Sound is a huge part of any video, and sometimes can even be more important than the actual picture quality itself. If your viewers can't hear what you're saying or is distracted by unwanted noise in the background, the interest level is going to drop real quick. Most of the time you can get away with a pretty shitty quality picture.
But if your sound is all messed up, forget about it. Nobody wants to watch that.
Now I'm sure we have all had our issues with bad audio. I constantly fight it myself. But to help you all combat your own audio issues, we're going to go through them as they come up. And today we're going to tackle one of the most common audio problems I've seen. Sound sync. This is a very common problem, and it's when the sound is out of sync with the picture. You know, when your mouth just doesn't line up with what you're saying and seems to get progressively worse as the video goes on. Sync issues come from a couple of places. It can happen when you're actually recording your video and your camera's fucking it all up. It can happen when you're transferring the video from your camera to your computer and the files become a little out of whack. Or it can simply happen when you upload your video to YouTube or wherever else you're uploading your videos to, and their player can't handle the file format you're using. And that goes out of sync. We'll fix the first two. We'll leave file formats for another day. That can be a little bit confusing. First thing you're going to want to do, and I know this is an inside joke for some people, but it is the best way to line up your audio, is to clap at the beginning and the end of each of your videos. Simple clap. That's it. That way, if something does go wacky with your audio sync, you'll be able to fix it in your video editing software later. It's the same reason professionals use a clapboard while shooting for a movie.
79 fucking explosives. Fucking
action.
So once you've made your video with your 2 clap points in there, if you do forget the clap, it's not that big of a deal. You can still line up your audio the way I'm going to show you, but it's just easier if you have them in there. Now I'm going to show you how to do this in Sony Vegas Pro 12. But it's basically the same with any video editor out there. Just maybe a couple different keystrokes or maybe called a little something else. If you can't do what I'm doing in your editing software, just search online for syncing up audio in whatever you're using. Movie Studio, Avid, Premiere. Whatever you're using, just syncing up audio in that software. It'll come right up. So here we are in Sony Vegas Pro 12, and this is the editing software I use to make all my videos. And here on the timeline, I already have a quick clip put on here just to show you how to fix a couple of different audio problems. Now, since I use an external microphone, my sound sometimes goes a little off. I record to a separate device than I actually record the picture to. So I always have to tweak it in a little bit. If you look in the beginning of the audio, you see I have a couple different clap sequences here. I don't know why I do so many times. I'm retarded like that, but you can just clap once. But if you just jog over a couple and you see, just as my hands touch together, I'm right at the top of my sound. This is my waveform. And you can see right at the peak of the waveform, my hands are clapped together. But if you go to the end of the audio, where I clap my hands together, again, I do multiple claps. I have no idea why. But just as I get my hands together, my audio is off probably about 2 or 3 frames, which really isn't a lot. Sometimes I can be off like 10, 11 frames, and that's very noticeable. 2 or 3 frames you'll never see, but I fix it anyway just for the hell of it. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So the first thing we have to do is we have to unlock our audio from our video, because right now our video and audio are locked together. And you can't adjust your audio without adjusting your video at the same time at this point. So it's very easy to ungroup them. Just hover over either your audio or your video track, right click, go to group, and remove from. That's going to separate them. As you can see, the audio and the video are 2 separate entities. Now we can adjust our audio as much as we want without affecting the video at all. So we're going to jog over here and just to see just where my hands clap together, right there, we're a little bit off. We're going to go to the end of the audio clip. And just as you hover over the edge, it's going to bring up a little title telling you what it's going. And it says trim event end. Now we don't want to do that. We don't want to trim the end. But if you hit the control key, it's going to go to time stretch. And that's what we want to do. We actually want to not stretch the time. We actually want to make it shorter but it means the same thing. So just go to the end. Let's get this a little bit better lined up so we can see it better. Go to the end, Control, just bring it over just a little bit. As you can see right there, now I'm in line. As my hands are touched together, I'm at the top of my peak. And that didn't affect anything that happened in the beginning, because it's an overall stretch. So whatever happens up here is going to be minimum. As you can see, still at the peak, and my hands are clasped together. All the thing I do now is relock your video and your audio so you can edit as you feel like, just by hitting Control, clicking on both, right-clicking, go to Group, go to Create New, or just hit the G on your keyboard. But again, that's for Sony Vegas. So what do you do when your audio goes off in the middle of a video? Like the first half of the video is fine, then all of a sudden somewhere in the middle it gets all out of whack. Well, there's a quick fix for that too. As you can see in this video, I kind of faked it, as you can see by my separation line right here, but pretend that line's not there. But you can see right here the audio is synced. This is a very common problem, and it's when the sound is... Now if you go to here, the sound is off. Sync issues come from a couple of places. So this is how we're going to fix this. First, we're going to ungroup our audio and our video, just like we did before. Go to Group, Remove From. Now I can move my audio by itself. Now, we know right around here is where the audio went off. So I'm just going to hit S on my keyboard, which is split. Other softwares might be different. And now it's split from the rest of the line. Now, like I said, please pretend this split line isn't there. I had to fake it. But now I can move this independent from the rest. Now, since there's no clap points here, it's kind of harder to line up. You basically just have to do it by eye. And I'm just going to bring this over just until it looks better. We'll just play a little section. Camera's fucking it all up. It can happen when you're transferring the video from your camera. That actually looks pretty damn good. Might need just a little bit more camera to your computer, and the files become... And I think that's pretty good. That's all you have to do. Regroup your frames. Group. Create New. Now you have perfectly lined up synced audio, computer, and the files become a little out of whack. And that's it. Now you can edit all you want as you go, and you have perfect sync audio. Learning how to fix problems like these is how you get better at video production. If you say fuck it, it don't matter, every single time you make a video, you're never going to learn. And after you do this a couple times, it becomes second nature to work out all these little quirks. Next time, we're going to talk about lighting for video. I want you guys to be able to showcase your haunts and your props the best that you can. And lighting is probably the most important thing I will ever show you when it comes to video production. I'm sure you guys are wondering what's taking so long with the Dead with Dave Home Haunters Awards. Well, believe me when I say, my judges and I are really busting our asses on them. And we're getting close to finding out the top 5 and the final winners. And probably by the time you watch this, I will already have known who won. I know it seems like we're taking forever, but I want this to be done right. So we're taking our time to make sure we do it right. I could easily just slap together a very quick award show and just be like, Steve's Haunted Yard won all categories. It doesn't even matter that he didn't enter. I know what he could have done, and that's all that we need. But that's not going to happen here. I want you guys to be proud of this. I don't want this to be just another home haunt contest. It has to be more. There was another home haunt contest at the end of last year that ran into some issues and sadly put a negative light on home haunt contests as a whole. I'm not going to go into who they are or what issues they had, but seeing the outcome of that contest and hearing what people were saying, like, haunt contests are stupid, they'll never enter another one again, it shouldn't be about competition between haunts, and so many other just negative things about haunt contests in general. It really made me realize that we're not just dealing with people's haunts, we're dealing with people's passions. And that's not something to take lightly or just simply fuck around with. Telling a haunter that his haunt is just okay is like telling a mother her baby is ugly. So anyway, on a positive note, this year we did something a little different. The judges and I all got together to watch some of the award entries together at my house. Of course, Tara and Ryan couldn't be here. They live all the way out in West Bumblefuck somewhere. It would have been nice to see everybody together as one just watching the awards, but that just wasn't going to happen this time. So just the Jersey judges got together and watched some of the entries. We did watch them in my theater room on my big screen. I have a 106-inch projection screen in there, and we just had a ton of fun. We were just talking about the haunts, different props, everybody's different styles. It's just great sitting back with a bunch of other haunters and talking haunt. Now, even though we did watch a lot of the entries together, the judging is still done on an individual basis, and nobody knows who gave what score to what haunt or what prop. Except for me, of course. I add them all together. Now, the only thing left to do is the recording party, where we all get together again and record the actual awards. I'm sure most of you saw a little bit of that from last year.
We all got into Halloween for different reasons. Maybe it was your parents were really kinky and had Oh wait, that's not what it said. What?
Oh my god. After that's all done, it's on the editing where all the magic happens. Which reminds me, I hate to say this, but there will be no Dead with Dave next month. There'll be no minis next month either. I have to give 100% of my attention to the awards show. I have so many ideas that are running through my brain right now. I really can't wait to get into the editing. I should have it all done by the first week in April. Yeah, I know. Another month. But I swear to God, it's going to be worth the wait. So till then, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's really easy. Just click the little button down there. Go check out pandemichauntproduction.com for more things Halloween and haunt related. And please, check out Ghoulish Cop's channel and subscribe to him. He has some really awesome videos over there about his haunt and the props that he builds. Of course, I'll put a link down in the description to make it very easy for you to get over there. And I do want Rich to come back and do a monthly segment for me. And the only way he's going to do that is if you guys force him to. So in the comments down below, tell us what you thought. Do you like Rich's new segment? Do you hate Rich's new segment? You're kind of on the fence right now. You want to see more. You have to see more. Me personally, I think he did a great job, especially for the first one out. I mean, it did look like he was kind of driving a bus the entire time while he was recording. We will fix that next time. A little shit like that. It really is no big deal. But please, show him some love. Tell him what you thought. I really want him to come back and do more. I think he's going to be a very big addition to the Dead with Dave show. But we got to force him to do it. He's just not going to do it on his own. So, okay. I'll see you guys next time. Good night. What do you think of the home haunters so far, as we're judging?
Some pretty awesome haunts.
Yeah.
They have some really talented people there.
What about you, Sharon?
I love them. Everybody does such an excellent job, and they put so much into making the videos. They did a really good job.
And not many people know you. But what do you think, since you've been sitting here watching with us?
I appreciate all the efforts. Good job.
And Bob?
I just think they suck. I just think they suck.
So Bob won't be in that video.
Yeah.
No,
You always have to edit now. It sucks,
always
right?
edit.
Yeah, you can put that last part in. Yeah, they're good.
They're good. That's
They're
it.
good. Yeah.
So give me your fake feeling now, since you gave me the honest one. They're okay? Not good? Better last year? Better this year? That's all
You
we
can't
need.
use my quote.
That's what you did?
That's mine. I own it, just like the fucking great
That's
stuff.
exactly what she did.
And one last person. Crazy Cartley. Not so crazy tonight. What do you feel about the home haunters this year?
Immense talent as always.
Wait, how you feel compared to last year? Better this year, better last year?
I think better this year. A lot more
Definitely.
detail, a lot more in production, and
But
effort.
you wanna know what I think?
Go for it. Tell us what you think.
Yes.
There are lots of detail and more production, right, Bob?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And wait, do this.
Except for the ones that sucked. No. What an asshole.
Good job.
Yeah, I think everybody like stepped it up this year.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It would have been nice if he did that when he was videoing you.
He
but
still is
don't-
videoing. So he has my voice in there.
I got it all. It's good.